Hello everyone, my name is Mohammad Nadeem and I teach law in University of Delhi. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss a concept of Muslim law, a very important concept of Muslim law, that is Iddat or Idda. Okay, so in this video, we will first tell you what is the concept of Idda, why to observe Idda, how it is observed and where it is being observed and when it is started and when it ends. So this word comes, it's of Arabic origin. It comes from Arabic, which means waiting period for chastity, right? So it is a period when a husband dies or when a husband divorces his wife, so she cannot remarry after divorce or after the death of husband until she observes Iddat or Idda. So this is the period during which she will observe Idda, and that would be the waiting period. So it is different for divorced women and different for the women who are widowed. So under this concept, there are various restrictions. For example, a female and her husband dies. So she will observe Idda. There would be a waiting period for remarrying, means she cannot remarry again until she observes Iddat period. So that is, for example, 4 months and 10 days in case of death. So she has to observe Idda. There are various restrictions in Iddat period. For example, she cannot go outside the house in gatherings or in any ceremony, whether it is the death of any relative or marriage of any relative. So she is not allowed to go outside. She cannot wear fancy clothes or very bright colored clothes. She cannot put on makeup, and the most important is that she is not allowed to meet any male who is outside the blood relation. She can meet females, anyone, but she is not allowed to meet the male members who are out of the blood relations. So this is a period of seclusion. Basically, seclusion means where she has to live alone, means not amongst lots of people. I mean, she has to live inside her house where there are only the family members, and she has to mourn the husband of the death by reciting various things, chants which are being recited on tasbih. So this is the concept of Idda. Now to clarify it further, why this Idda is being observed or Iddat is being observed by a widow or a divorcee. The first is to determine pregnancy. The main point is to determine the pregnancy. For example, ex-woman, either the husband died or she has been divorced. So she has to observe this period of Idda. Time is different for both in case of divorce and death. So she has to go through a waiting period. In case if she is pregnant, then it will be the child of the husband who has died or divorced. So it is for determining the paternity of the child. A woman who was married to Y died, and when Y died, she was pregnant, but it was not confirmed that she was pregnant. So when she will observe Iddat, within few months she will come to know, it would be confirmed in 3-4 months that she was pregnant by his husband. And now this will determine that yes, the baby or the child in the womb of that particular woman is of Mr. Y. So to determine the paternity of the child. But in case, for example, if there is no Iddat period and she her husband dies, Y dies, and X remarries again after 10 days or say 1 month. Now she gets pregnant. Now how will you decide that the child is of Mr. Y or Mr. Z, the second husband. So there would be confusion. You cannot determine who is the father of this child when Mr. Y died and she marries after 15 days or 1 month. So it is very difficult to determine that. So for determining the parentage of the child or the paternity of the child, it is observed by the divorcee or the widow. Now the second point is mourning the husband of the dead, means to mourn the death of the husband in peace and in seclusion. This time is basically given to the women for mourning the husband's death. The third point is for resolution of conflict between husband and wife. In a talaq, triple talaq is banned now. So talaq, which is revocation, in which there is revocation, means once you have given talaq to your wife, in that case wife will go through iddat period, and in that iddat period, if you reconcile your problems or your conflicts, then that can be revoked and both husband and wife will start living together. So in this period, if it becomes irrevocable, the time it is being pronounced like it was an triple talaq case, so in that it cannot be revoked. Talaq cannot be revoked, but in this case when you are observing iddat, that period is given so that there can be a reconciliation between the husband and the wife and they can start living together again. Alright, so now this is the most important thing, how it has to be observed, means how many days are there. So there are two categories of women. First is two categories where the iddat is in case the woman is divorced, and in case the marriage is dissolved by the death of the husband. Two cases, marriage dissolved by divorce, and the second category is by death of the husband. So let's take first category where the marriage is being dissolved by divorce. For example, wife, W is wife and H is husband. For example, now wife W, marriage is now it has two categories, marriage is consummated, marriage is not consummated. What does consummation means? Consummation means that both wife and husband had sexual intercourse amongst them, means there has been a physical contact between them after marriage. So if W and H has consummated their marriage, in that case there are three categories of wife. For example, H divorces her wife W and marriage has been consummated. So if wife W is a menstruating girl or a menstruating woman, mean she gets menses or menstrual cycle every month. So in this case the iddat period would be 3 menstrual cycles. The first cycle, then the second cycle and the third cycle. So 3 menstruation cycles would be the iddat period. At the end of the day, when she is menstruating third time in third month, the last day would be the end of iddat period. Okay, for a wife who has been divorced and marriage has been consummated and the wife is a menstruating woman. Now the second case is when wife not menstruating. In case husband divorced his wife, marriage has been consummated but wife no more menstruate now, means she does not anymore gets menses every month. So in that case 3 months according to lunar calendar. Muslims actually follow lunar calendars, okay, not Gregorian calendar. So 3 months as per lunar calendar, that would be the waiting period, that would be the iddat period for women or wife whose marriage has been consummated and she has been divorced and she is not menstruating. Now the third category comes where the dissolution of marriage is by divorce marriage is consummated but wife is pregnant, right? In pregnant there are two cases, termination and birth. Now in this case where wife is divorced, marriage is consummated and wife is pregnant, of course after consummation is only, pregnancy is only possible. So here if she is pregnant, she has to observe iddat now till birth of the child. For example, she is pregnant of 3 months. Now she has to wait till the delivery of or the birth of the child. For example, more 6 months. Next is, or in case the pregnancy is terminated. For example, she has any complication, she is 2 months pregnant or 3 months pregnant, and in 4th month for some reason she has to abort the child, or the child is no more in the womb, the child is dead, so or any other reason due to which the pregnancy is being terminated. In that particular case, the iddat period would be ended here only on the termination of the pregnancy. So 3 cases: wife menstruating, 3 menses; wife not menstruating, 3 lunar months; wife pregnant till termination of pregnancy or till birth of the child. Now, second case is when the marriage is dissolved by divorce and marriage is not consummated, means wife and husband never had sexual intercourse or never had physical contact. So in that case there is no requirement to go under iddat, means you need not to observe any iddat, you can remarry after divorce, no iddat period. Next, the other is by death. So in case of death, this consummation of marriage is not material. It means whether the marriage has been consummated or not, or whether there has been physical contact or sexual intercourse between wife and husband or not, that is totally immaterial. If the husband dies, the widow has to necessarily observe iddat, and there are 2 cases: wife pregnant, for example, same here, wife and husband, H dies, wife is pregnant. In case of consummation, of course, wife is pregnant, so W has to observe iddat till the period of the birth of the child, means till the child is born or the termination of pregnancy, till termination of pregnancy and till birth of the child, same as here in case of divorce, right? So husband is dead, she is pregnant, till termination of the pregnancy she has to observe the iddat till termination of the pregnancy and or the birth of the child, right? Next is not pregnant. Now in case of women who are not pregnant, so there is no as such distinction here, like wife menstruating, it doesn't matter, it is totally immaterial whether wife is menstruating, not menstruating, she has to undergo iddat for complete 4 months and 10 days as per lunar calendar, 4 months and 10 days irrespective of her menses, whether she is menstruating or not. Now where she has to observe the iddat, it is she has to observe where she has been permanently living with her husband. That's the place where she has to observe iddat. It's not her parents' home or any place, but the place where she has been living with her husband permanently, right? Now the last one is when these different periods start and ends. In this case, the last day of menstruation, the 3 months menstruation, when 3rd month, the last day of menstruation. And when does the period of iddat start in case of divorce? When the divorce is being pronounced or the divorce is given, from that particular day the time of this 3 months or whatever will start, and when it will end, in this case complete last day of menstruation. Here last when not menstruation, complete 3 months means the last day when 3 months would be completed during the time of sunset after performing namaz of Maghrib. And in this case it starts from the day of divorce until termination of pregnancy and birth of the child. In case of death, it will start when the husband is died. This is very important. When husband is died. For example, husband dies on 10th of April, but the wife gets the knowledge or the news of the husband's death after 10 days. Now what would be the Iddat period? Iddat period will not start from 20th of April. It will start only from 10th of April. Means if she did not have any knowledge, then she has to go only for the remaining period of Iddat, right? Means she has to observe Iddat now only for 4 months. Or if she gets the knowledge or the news of the husband after 4 months and 10 days, then she need not to go or undergo the Iddat period. So it starts from the day when the husband dies, not the day when the wife comes to know or gets the news of the death of the husband, right? And when does it ends? It ends on after 4 months and 10 days, when it is the last day, 10th day during sunset, right? So this is all start and ending period. So this was all about Iddat period. We have discussed what is the concept, why it has to be observed, how it is observed, and where it is being observed, and what is the starting and ending period of it. I hope you understand what I explained to you today, and if you have any query, you can please mention in the comment box. Thank you so much for watching this video.